That's strange. Why are they headed our way? They look like they're up to no good. They're not here to give us trouble, are they? Florence fidgeted anxiously in her seat. They're here for me. Dustin piped up. You. Have you offended someone again? Dahlia frowned. She noticed that Dustin ran into quite a lot of trouble these days. I wouldn't exactly say I offended him, per se. I simply beat him up to teach him a lesson on how to behave, Dustin said calmly. This is not Swinton. There are influential people all around. There are some people that we simply cannot afford to cross, Dahlia whispered. Though she was now chairwoman of Cardinal Group, the handover had yet to be completed, so she had neither funds, connections, nor experience. At this stage of her life, what she needed to do was to make more connections, keep a low profile, and stay out of trouble. Don't you worry, Miss Dahlia. I'm here. I'll make sure that nobody kicks up a fuss here. Terence shot her a confident smile, trying to portray the image of a savior. He'd never pass up the opportunity to flex his muscles in front of such a beautiful lady. Every man wanted to play the part of a hero saving the damsel in distress. Dahlia, Terence has some very powerful people backing him up. With the connections he has, these rascals don't stand a chance, Julie said proudly as she hooked an arm around Terence's. Is that so? Then I'll have to thank Terence in advance. Dahlia managed to force a smile on her face. Don't mention it. It's no big deal, Terence said with a wave of his hand as he beamed joyfully, thinking it'd be effortless to deal with these thugs. You scoundrel. I've been searching high and low for you for the past 2 days. You can't run away now. Duncan advanced with a threatening smile on his face. His malicious gaze was fixed on Dustin. Why were you searching for me? Have you finally realized that you were wrong and were looking for me to apologize? A hint of a smile tugged on Dustin's lips. Apologize, my foot. Duncan's face fell as he roared. 2 days ago, you humiliated me and gave me 3 slaps across the face. I swear I'll chop your hands off today, you asshole. Excuse me, sir, please calm down. If Dustin has hurt you in any way at all, I'll pay you for the damages he's done. Dahlia stood to alleviate the tension. Surprised that someone would stand up for Dustin, Duncan gave Dahlia a good look before his eyes lit up. Gorgeous. This lady is gorgeous indeed, he thought. He'd set eyes on many beautiful ladies before, but this was something else. She was truly a rare beauty. Hey loser, is this your girlfriend? She's quite hot. Duncan stroked his chin as he leered at Dahlia with a smirk. I'll strike you a deal. If you let your girlfriend sleep with me for 1 night, I'll let you off the hook for that move you pulled last time. How's that? You insolent bastard. Before Dustin could say anything, Terence slammed his list on the table and stood up. Which sect do you belong to? Don't you know that men's disagreements should be settled between men? So keep the lady out of your dirty business. And who are you to run your mouth here, you cad? Duncan squinted at him. Me. I am Terence Stone, manager of Brooks Corporation. If you know what's good for you, you better scram, or I'll make you regret the day you were born, Terence said with his hands behind his back, going for a look of superiority. Brooks Corporation was a giant in the Millsburg business industry and had enormous influence over the market, so Terence was used to people backing off the moment he told them that he worked for Brooks Corporation. It worked like a charm. Manager of Brooks Corporation? Duncan's expression darkened when he heard that, and within a split second, he went up to Terence and gave him a hard slap across the face. Fuck you. How dare a measly manager behave so pompously? Do you have a death wish? With a loud smack, Duncan's hand made contact with Terence's cheek. The force was so strong that he staggered backward, nearly tripping over himself. The crimson outline of a palm blossomed on his face, clear for all to see. Julie, along with the rest of them, were astonished by what they saw. It was beyond their expectation that these thugs would be so dauntless as to assault the manager of Brooks Corporation. Were they out of their minds? How dare you hit me? Terence held his cheek in his hand, gasping in disbelief. Do you not know who I am? I am a managerial level in Brooks Corporation. So what? Without another word, Duncan gave him another hard slap. I'd probably be intimidated if Roderick Brooks himself were here. But a mere manager. Do you think I'd be afraid of you? You scumbag. You're done for, I'm telling you. How dare you hit me? I'll make you pay if it's the last thing I do. Beside himself with rage, Terence pulled his phone out and was about to call for backup. Fuck you. Duncan kicked Terence to the ground and bellowed, how dare you act so arrogantly when death is staring you in the face? Get him, boys. Give him a good beating and show him who's boss. With his orders, his henchmen came forward and rained kicks and punches down on Terence. Stop it. Stop this immediately, or I'm calling the cops, Julie shouted. These thugs were going to be in deep trouble for messing with Terence. Call the cops. Yeah, you go ahead and try that, and you'll be walking out of here with one armless. Duncan glared at her nastily. That did the trick and shut Julie up. You're too much. Victoria was so angry, but there was nothing she could do, and that added to her frustration. She was consumed by distress at the sight of her prospective son-in-law being beaten up. This is all your fault, Rhys. If it wasn't for you, Terence would never have been beaten up. As usual, Florence pinned the blame on Dustin. Bullying people that she thought were weaker than her was what she did best. I'm not the one beating him up. What's this got to do with me? Dustin was speechless. After all, it was Terence who wanted to be the hero of the day but ended up embarrassing himself. Terence was helping you, and you're here making sarcastic comments. Are you even human? Florence demanded furiously. Well, maybe I'm not. If you are, why don't you go ahead and save him? Dustin gestured in Terence's direction. You. Florence was rendered speechless. She would never dare to save Terence because she feared that she would be implicated. Dustin, you fight well, hurry. Go help him out. Dahlia's brow was furrowed. Terence had meant to help them, so she could not just stand there and watch him being assaulted without doing anything about it. All right. Since Dahlia was the one who asked, Dustin finally got up and gave several of the henchmen kicks that sent them flying. You've had your fun, and your anger should have subsided. That's enough, he said nonchalantly. You're in deep shit yourself. How dare you consume yourself with other people's business? Duncan spat spitefully. Come straight at me if there's anything you're displeased about. Do you even call yourself a man if you bully the weak? Dustin said calmly. Terence, who was cowering on the ground, looked insulted when he heard Dustin calling him weak. He had meant to flex his muscles and show off how powerful he was, but these thugs had no regard for his status whatsoever, and because of that, not only did he get beaten up, Dustin ended up walking away with the credit that was supposed to be his. This was humiliation unlike any other. Fine. I won't attack him. I'll attack you instead. Duncan smiled viciously and beckoned for his men to go forward with a wave. Mess him up. And go all out while you're at it. I'll bear the consequences. Yes, sir. The group of henchmen answered and charged up toward Dustin all at once. At the sight of that, Dustin composedly picked up a handful of cutleries from the table and threw them straight ahead. As the whooshing sound halted, everyone saw that the forks and knee and eye vests were half buried in the henchman's thighs.